who has Show Me the Money, who would not love that, finding flawed implementations of third-party in-app payments in Android applications. And once you're ready, please take it away.
Okay. I'm Yang Wenbo from Shanghai Jiao Tong University, and the title of my paper is Show Me the Money, Finding Flawed Implementations of Third-Party In-App Payments in Android Applications. And we know that mobile payment has developed dramatically, especially in China in recent years. And the mobile payment in China, the market is up to $2 trillion US, and which is 20 times of the American. And the mobile payments not only include the offline NFC pay like Apple Pay, but also the in-app payment, and which means that people can select and buy things and pay for it in apps. So, however, previous work mainly focused on the security of traditional web application payments, and so far there are no unified specifications or assessed approach to validate the security of the in-app payment. So, in our paper, we will first describe the in-app payment process, and then we will give a series of security rules that which should be obeyed throughout the transaction, and the severe consequence of violating these security rules. And finally, we will detect the flaws in real apps. So in a typical in-app payment process, there are 4 roles, which is the merchant app, and it always integrates the third-party payment SDK, and also the merchant server and the cashier server. And we choose China, which is the world's largest in-app payment market in the world, to be our research target. And we also choose 4 popular cashiers in China, which is Alipay, WeChat Pay, and Union Pay, and Baidu Pay. And all of them claim that they have over 100 million registered users. So to illustrate how popular the in-app payment in China, we also download 7,000 apps from the Android app market in China, and we use static analysis to these samples, and we found that all of these apps are the most popular apps, which have more than 100,000 downloads. And we use static analysis to these apps, and we found that over 1/3 of them uses at least one of the 4 third-party payment SDK in their apps. And so we concluded 2 process models from the 4 cashiers in-app payment process. The WeChat and the Union Pay used the first model, and the Alipay and the Baidu Pay used the second one. So I will describe the first in detail. When users want to buy something, the merchant app will send the merchant order request to the merchant server, and then the merchant server will generate and assign the payment order according to the merchant order and send it to the cashier server. After that, the cashier server will return a message containing the transaction number to the merchant server, and then merchant server add his signature on it and return back to the merchant app. Then the merchant app invoke the TP SDK in it, and then the TP SDK will prompt a window that shows the users that the information about this payment, and ask for the user's confirmation. After user approved to pay and send the pay request to the cashier server, the cashier server will use the money in the user's account, and if everything's okay, the cashiers will send the payment order notification to the merchant server as well as the TP SDK. Then the TP SDK will tell the merchant app to show the window to the user that your payment is complete. And then meanwhile, the merchant server should makes an extra query about the payment order to the cashier server to confirm every details of this payment. And then after that, the merchant should deliver the merchandise to the users. So the second model is quite different. Mailing occurs in the step 2. The merchant server generates and signs the payment order and send it back to the merchant app. And then the merchant, and then the information about the payment order will send in the step 4 to the cashiers. So yes, this is different. So we then further conduct our security analysis to this process model. And before that, we give our anniversary model. We assume that the attackers can reverse engineering the merchant app and the embedded TP SDK, and the attackers can also forge requests or message to both merchant server and cashier server. Also, if the attack targets cashier or the merchant, he can the attacker, just like malicious users, he can use his own phone and he can control the data and the app and the system. He can modify them. But when the attack targets other users, then the attacker can only control the network communication between other users, merchant app and his server, if there is insecure network communication. So this is the 7 security rules, and we concluded. First, the payment order must be generated and signed by the merchant server, and the signing key should never expose to others. And there are also 2 for the TP SDK. It should inform users detailed information of this payment order and should verify the owner of the transaction, which means that the payment order belongs to which of the merchant app. And also always use secure network communication between the client and the server. And there are also 2 security rules for the merchant server, and he should verify the signature of received messages, and he should also make an extra query to the notified payment from the cashier server. So if one or more security rules are violated and the in-app payment process will suffer a series of attacks. And we concluded 4 types of attacks. And the first is the order tampering attack. And you can see from the picture, if the merchant incorrectly implemented the payment order generation or signing in the merchant app, then the attack can tamper the content. For example, the total amount of the money in the payment order and send it to the cashier server. So this attack can be successful. Also require that the merchant server fail to make an extra query to the about the payment to the cashier server. Otherwise, he will find that the money is different from the original one, because the merchant can require the origin price from the merchant order in the step 1. So the second attack is notification forging attack, which means that the attacker want to buy something but without paying it. Instead, he sends a fake payment order notification to the merchant server. If the server accepted the notification, which means that he failed to verify the message signature, or the attacker make use of the leaking key to give it with a valid signature, then the merchant server will accept it. Also, it requires the merchant fail to reconfirm the payment to the cashier server. Otherwise, he will find that the status of this payment order is still unpaid. So the third attack is order substituting attack, which targets users rather than the merchant, compared with the two attacks above. And you can see from the picture, the attack intercepted the payment order returned from the merchant server, and he made another payment. He made another order, and he used the attacker's payment order and sent it to the merchant app of the victim users. So it requires that the merchant use insecure network between the merchant server and the merchant app. Also, when the TPS-DK prompt his window to ask for the user's confirmation, if the TPS-DK shows incomplete information about this payment order, then the user may click and confirm this payment without any hesitation. So this attack can be successful, and the attacker can mislead our victim users to pay for the attacker's order. Also, the fourth attack is unauthorized query attack, and the attacker can use the leaking key to make query to the cashier, and he can acquire some secret business information because he can query every section recorded in the cashier, and including for example, the history bill of the merchant, and for every day, or every details of the transaction. So we then detect these flows of in-app payment. The first is the local ordering, which means that the merchant generate and assign the payment order in his app. So we just search the destination URL of placing payment orders in merchant app, which should only appear in the merchant server. So, for example, this is for the WeChat Pay, and then we detect the key leakage, and we use some specific features of the signing key, and also there are some other techniques to accurately detect the signing key. The detail is described in my paper. So also we try to check the incomplete prompt. We checked every the four cashiers, their TPS-DK, whether in their window there are payment order ID or the merchandise or the user of this payment order, and the merchant name and the amount, total amount money of this payment order. Also, we checked whether TPS-DK accepts a payment order which does not belong to the host merchant app. And the insecure network communication, we set proxy to perform man-in-the-middle attack between the client and the server. Also, we check whether the flows in the merchant server. We check whether the server accepts the tempered payment order with the valid signature, which indicates that they did not made confirmation of the notified payment. And also, we forge notifications to the merchant server with invalid signature to check whether they missed the signature validation. So this is the result, and we can see that hundreds of apps leak their key in their app, and over 100 apps which use WeChat Pay commit local ordering mistakes, and this is the flaws in the TPSD case, and only WeChat Pay correctly verify the transaction, and none of them shows complete information, and all of them use secure network communication. But there are unsecure communications in the merchant app, and over half of them are vulnerable. Also, a considerable proportion of merchant server suffers flaws. So we want to know why so many merchants make these mistakes. So we checked the sample code and official documents released by the cashier, and we found that the sample code also commits these, violate these security rules, and they themselves. So the merchant followed this sample code will suffer a series of attacks, and also there are conflicts between the code and document which may confuse the developer of the merchant. Also, the lack of the sample code implementation of the server may explain the server mistakes. So also the incomplete promption may due to the compromise of the business. Also, the merchant modify signing key to the weak keys, and which may suffer brute force attack. And there are also several case studies in our paper, and we reported all these findings to the related parties, and the cashiers fixed the mistakes in the sample code and the document, and also we reported all the vulnerable app listed to the Cashier Security Response Center, which is responsible for their payment ecosystem. So also we return and repaid items in our cases. So that's all. Thank you.
And let's thank the speaker. If you have questions, please step up to the microphone. Again, please state your name and affiliation.